Silence isn't empty. Your brain treats it like a message. And sometimes that message feels more frightening than any sound you could hear. Imagine sitting in a room where every noise suddenly disappears. No traffic outside, no humming lights, no footsteps, just nothing. At first it seems peaceful. Then a few seconds pass. Your thoughts grow louder. Your heartbeat seems impossible to ignore. The room hasn't changed, but somehow it feels different. Almost like something is watching you. That feeling isn't your imagination. Long before cities, music, or even language, your ancestors survived because they listened. Every crack of a branch meant something. Every distant bird call painted a picture of the world around them. Forests were never truly quiet. Rivers flowed, insects buzzed, leaves whispered, life made noise. Then, every now and then, all of it stopped. No birds, no insects, no movement. Your ancestors learned that silence often arrived for one reason. A predator had entered the area. The forest didn't scream danger. It became quiet. And the people who understood that silence survived long enough to pass that instinct to you. Thousands of years later, your brain still carries that old survival program. Even when you're perfectly safe, complete silence can make your body prepare for something it can't even see. Your muscles tighten without permission. Your breathing changes. Your attention sharpens. Somewhere deep inside, an ancient part of your brain whispers that something isn't right. But that's only the beginning, because physical silence isn't actually the part people struggle with most. The real problem begins after the world around you becomes quiet. That's when another voice appears, your own. Most people believe they think all day long, but they rarely notice how much of that thinking is constantly interrupted. A notification arrives. Someone speaks. Music starts playing. A video begins. A message appears. Your attention jumps from one thing to another so often that your own thoughts barely get a chance to finish. Silence removes every distraction. Suddenly, there's nowhere for your mind to run. And that's when thoughts you've ignored for weeks, months, sometimes years, quietly walk back into the room. The conversation you wish had gone differently. The dream you never chased. The mistake you keep pretending doesn't matter. Questions you never answered. Silence doesn't create these thoughts. It simply turns off everything that was covering them. That realization surprises a lot of people. They think they hate silence. Often, they actually hate what silence reveals. But it gets stranger. Researchers have noticed something fascinating about the human brain. When you're not focused on a task, another network becomes active. It's often called the brain's default mode. Instead of resting, your mind begins connecting memories, imagining the future, replaying conversations, solving problems, and asking questions you didn't even know existed. Your brain is never really doing nothing. In silence, it's finally free to wonder. That sounds wonderful. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Because the same brain that can invent beautiful ideas can also invent terrifying possibilities. A tiny mistake becomes a disaster. An awkward conversation becomes endless embarrassment. A small uncertainty grows into a life-changing fear. Nothing outside has changed. Only your thoughts have, and your brain struggles to tell the difference. Here's the strange part. Your body often reacts to imagined danger almost the same way it reacts to real danger. Your heart beats faster. Your palms sweat. Stress hormones rise. All because of a story happening inside your own head. That's why a quiet bedroom at 2 a.m. can suddenly feel like the most uncomfortable place on earth. Not because something is there, because your imagination finally has the microphone. For thousands of years though, silence wasn't something people could escape. There were no headphones, no television, no endless stream of videos. People walked for hours with only their thoughts. Farmers worked long days without constant entertainment. Sailors stared at endless oceans. Shepherds watched empty hillsides. Entire evenings passed with nothing but firelight and quiet conversation. Their minds had to practice. Your mind often doesn't. Today, silence has become surprisingly rare. The moment an elevator feels quiet, someone reaches for a phone. Waiting in line? Music. Driving alone? Podcast. Walking? Video. Cooking? Television in the background. Even falling asleep often requires noise. It's almost as if we've built a world where silence has become something to avoid. But why? Part of the answer is simple. Distraction feels easier than reflection. As long as something else captures your attention, you don't have to sit with uncertainty. You don't have to think about difficult decisions. You don't have to ask uncomfortable questions. Noise gives your brain somewhere else to look. Silence gently turns it back toward you, and that's exactly why so many people unknowingly avoid it. But here's the twist nobody expects. Silence isn't your enemy. In many ways, It's one of your oldest allies. Some of history's greatest ideas appeared during quiet moments, not while rushing, not while scrolling, not while talking, while walking alone, watching rainfall, looking at the stars, sitting beside a window with nothing demanding attention. When the outside world becomes quieter, the brain suddenly has room to connect ideas that never seemed related before. Problems begin solving themselves. Memories arrange into patterns. Creative ideas appear from nowhere. Except they didn't come from nowhere. They were waiting underneath all the noise. Scientists have even found that moments of quiet can help the brain process information, strengthen memories, and recover from constant stimulation. It's almost like silence gives your mind permission to clean its own room. But there's one final mystery. If silence can be so helpful, why does it still feel uncomfortable at first? Think about entering a dark room after standing in bright sunlight. For a few moments, you can't see anything. Not because the room is impossible to see, because your eyes need time to adjust. Silence works the same way. When your mind has been surrounded by endless stimulation, quiet feels unfamiliar. Your thoughts seem louder because you've suddenly removed everything competing with them. The discomfort isn't proof that silence is bad. It's proof that your brain is adapting. Slowly, something remarkable happens. The racing thoughts become slower. Your breathing steadies. The uncomfortable questions lose their sharp edges. Ideas become clearer. You begin noticing details you always missed. The wind outside, the rhythm of your breathing, the tiny sounds hidden beneath everyday life. Eventually, silence stops feeling empty. It starts feeling full of awareness, full of possibility, full of space that noise never allowed you to notice. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. People spend their lives trying to escape silence because they believe it's the absence of something, the absence of sound, the absence of entertainment, the absence of activity. But silence isn't an absence. It's an invitation to meet the oldest version of yourself. The one that still listens like your ancestors did. The one that notices patterns hidden beneath chaos. The one that asks difficult questions instead of running from them. The world has become louder than at any other point in history. Yet the answers many people are searching for still arrive the same way they always have. Not through more noise, but through the moment when everything else finally goes quiet.